After returning home from a medical appointment, I pulled up to my own driveway only to find hundreds of grimy tires blocking the sole access road to my property. What started as a surreal annoyance quickly turned into a leave-wying nightmare, orchestrated by our power-obsessed HOA president, who decided I needed a lesson for daring to question her authority. She thought she was untouchable. Perhaps she was right, until she underestimated who my family was. What would you do if someone trapped you on your own land, all because they couldn't handle being challenged? At 62, after 34 years running my own construction business, I'd finally purchased my dream property, a 15-acre farm just beyond city limits. It had perfect southern exposure for my workshop, stunning views, and crisp, clean air ideal for indulging my lifelong passion of restoring classic cars. The property came with one minor quirk. While my land sat outside HOA jurisdiction, my quarter-mile driveway ran through Pinewood Estates. Before buying, I'd done my homework, confirming I'd only owe a modest road maintenance fee while my farm remained free of their rules. The HOA president at the time, a sensible guy named Henry, had assured me in writing that my property wouldn't fall under their architectural or landscaping restrictions. For 5 years, everything was smooth sailing. I kept my stretch of road in top shape, even clearing snow for neighbors with my tractor. Most Pinewood folks appreciated HOA, a construction veteran nearby for advice on home projects, and many became friends, some even dropping by to check out my latest car restoration. I once surprised old Mr. Thompson by restoring his '57 Chevy for his 80th birthday, earning cheers at the community potluck. The previous HOA board had been practical, focusing on real community needs rather than petty control. They respected property rights and knew compromise built stronger ties than strict rules. I'd always kept to myself, and after losing my wife 3 years prior, working on cars became my therapy. At my age, after decades of hard labor, I just wanted a quiet retirement, no neighborly feuds or HOA headaches. That peace shattered last spring when Margaret Ellison ran for HOA president, campaigning on neighborhood beautification and property value protection. A former corporate exec with zero community experience, she won by vowing to crack down on eyesores and rule breakers, tarnishing Pinewood's exclusive charm. Her first act? Violation notices for anyone who didn't match her vision of suburban perfection: the elderly couple with a front yard veggie patch, the single mom skipping pricey landscaping, the young family with an unsightly swing set. At her debut HOA meeting, Margaret targeted me with a PowerPoint of zoomed-in photos of my farmy workshop, my cars, my tractor. "This rural blight drags down our prestigious community," she declared. I stood, introduced myself to newcomers, and explained my situation. My land's outside HOA control. I've maintained the road at my expense and helped many of you for years. Several neighbors nodded. They knew the deal. Margaret, caught off guard, snatched my property survey and agreement, snapping, "I'll review this, but consider your impact on our aesthetics." A few board members urged her to check my docs first, and one, a retired real estate lawyer named Susan, noted my agreement was binding. Margaret's icy glare told me this wasn't over. Instead of backing off, she doubled down. A week later, I got an HOA letter claiming a consultant found a 1982 clause giving them broader authority over my driveway as a visual extension of Pinewood. This flimsy reinterpretation aimed to control my front yard. When I demanded proof, Margaret dodged, citing attorney-client privilege. I knew it was nonsense from years of contract work and filed a records request as a fee-paying member. That small pushback set her off. I later learned she'd been forced into early retirement after clashing with subordinates in her corporate days, and the HOA was her shot at reclaiming power. The next day, my mailbox was smash caught on my security cam at 2 a.m. by a hooded figure. Then came a flood of absurd notices: excessive vehicle storage, unauthorized farm equipment, even non-compliant mailbox. I replied to each with my agreement, requesting a hearing per the bylaws. Margaret ignored me, escalating instead. One day, I came home to orange violation stickers on my gate, and mailbox security footage showed her and 2 board cronies giggling as they slapped them on. That night, an email from a fancy city law firm threatened legal action unless I complied. I sent it all to my retired attorney buddy, Tom, who called it pure harassment, and drafted a cease and desist letter pro bono, warning of tortious interference. Margaret's reply? An emergency board vote on a keycard gate system implying I'd be locked out unless I bent the knee. She scheduled meetings when I was working, sending notices too late to adjust my schedule. When I took a day off for the gate vote, she postponed it as I walked in, then cut my mic during comments after 30 seconds, sneering, "We're not here for a fan club." My neighbor Paul backed me up. His mic got cut too. Half the room walked out in protest. Later, folks like Ellen, a 20-year Pinewood vet, told me she's turning this place into her fiefdom. Paul, a retired real estate lawyer, found her new bylaws weren't county-filed and my agreement was grandfathered in. We submitted a formal challenge, but at the next meeting, Margaret had security eject Paul for raising it. She banged her gavel, "Disruptive behavior or won't be tolerated." That night, my cameras caught her snapping flash photos of my place. The next morning, a final notice demanded compliance in 48 hours or enforcement. Paul warned, she doesn't care what's legal, just what she can get away with. 3 days later, I woke to a dump truck unloading tires across my driveway, Margaret overseeing, arms crossed, in her power suit. "What are you doing?" I yelled, filming. "Your driveway privileges are revoked until you comply," she smirked, handing me a 27 violation list before driving off. The sheriff's deputy who showed up shrugged it off as a civil matter, despite the health hazard from waterlogged tires. Tow companies refused to help, citing an HOA cease and desist. I had a heart checkup that date wrapped. I hiked 2 miles through fields, arriving late and exhausted. My doctor, Lisa, was furious. "This is elder abuse." She documented my spiking blood pressure. Margaret even tailed me to the clinic, watching from her car. The Barricade wrecked my Lafino work truck. No deliveries, no emergency access. The county cited me for the tires until I showed footage of Margaret. Lisa wrote a letter calling it a medical emergency, but mediation failed. Margaret raged, "No compromise with rule breakers," revealing it was personal. "I crushed men like you who defied me." 2 weeks in, my daughter Claire, a Med resident, sensed something off in our call. I spilled everything. "Call Uncle Daniel," she insisted. My brother Daniel, a federal judge, arrived the next day. After reviewing my evidence, he made calls, and soon the sheriff, a cleanup crew, and Margaret appeared. She froze when Daniel introduced himself, Federal Judge Daniel Carter. "Your actions violate access laws, fiduciary duty, and environmental statutes." Within hours, the tires were gone, and Margaret resigned amid an HOA audit. Paul became interim president, and Daniel helped rewrite fair bylaws. Margaret sold her house. I offered her a plan as a truce. "Your brother's formidable," she admitted. Justice had prevailed not just for me, but for Pinewood.